Outer Orange.
So much is going on for you guys. So much Vanguard news. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Welcome back. Previous year, let's get started. As I mentioned, we had the winter conference that happened on Friday, so quite a bit was discussed. So if you missed it, I'm here to basically tell you what went on. Conference for Shadowverse and Vice and Vanguard mainly. They introduced the Sky Ride manga that's coming, which I'm actually really excited about. I actually really want to read this. But anyway, the TLDR is you can get this volume. Also, you can get the Shenri Cone, which is Philia. Basically, the same exact thing where you can put her into Soul and draw a card, and she gets 5k as long as you have, if your opponent has one or less rear guards on the board. So just a nice little card to run in a lot of Dark States decks, and that'll be included in the manga. Don't know if it's gonna be a set or one card per manga, but it's really cool because the manga is actually gonna be in English, so we get to read it, and it'll be the first volume. So yay! I believe this is set 7 that got announced, the Knights of Rebirth, which is also good. Looks to be like a pretty interesting set that they're dropping. This has the new Blagmire in it, and it has all the new tree stuff going on. So it's gonna be also really exciting. This is June 27th. I'm hiding it, but that's also coming. And then we also have the master sets introduced, which are also coming in on June 27th. These are basically enhanced trial decks where you get everything you need to play the game. These are going to be pretty awesome, I would say. Don't know the price range on these yet, but overall they're usually pretty good. We had something similar like this happen before, so this is also going to be really exciting for those that want to get into the game. Ban list. So this is kind of the thing that most people were really looking for when it came to this, aside from like maybe some other new stuff coming in. So we did officially get the ban list. V Premier had no changes, obviously, because it's just not a format anymore. And then Standard got the Japanese ban list, which is putting Iza's out to 1, and then also restricting the free for Nubatama. And then we'll talk about that first here real quick. So they basically copy pasted the JP ban list, which I'm not for this change. This is why I wanted nothing to change. I was very adamant about saying I didn't want any changes, and that was only really for like an errata on a card for monsters. And I really thought that that's all we really needed. So I really didn't think this was needed, because I actually thought these decks were pretty fair. Some people I've talked to kind of over the past couple days mentioned that the Nui hit is needed. I feel our meta just really shifted. The Harry and Night Rose deck sets came out. I've been testing them. They're not like super oppressive either. I just feel like we were fine without this hit and just keeping Shoto Doji where it is. Levidress really checks Doji, and I think Nubatama, even like decks like Night Rose, don't really have much of an issue to it. So I feel like there were answers to these decks, so it wasn't like the end of the world, but I'm not against it. I just don't think we really needed it. So that's why I was kind of for the no changes, and at least for Standard. Some people really wanted a Levidress and a Raziel hit, and I don't know why, because it was a little too soon. I understand, because me, as someone who plays the decks, they're very powerful, and there's definitely a difference between playing those decks and playing something else. It is a difference, and it's like I got picked up Night Rose the other day, and I was really excited to play it, and then I played it. I was like, man, this doesn't hit like the power level just isn't as impactful as, like, you know, as Levidress and Raziel is. And that's just how it is. That's just where we are at right now because of how strong set 5 is. It's gonna change over time, and actually there is another ban list coming before Worlds. So realistically speaking, chances are that ban list is probably gonna have a little bit of a heavier lift, which is kind of what I wanted anyway. I wanted BCS season to kind of stay the same. Here we have the premium hit, and let me just quickly turn myself off real quick so you guys can see fully what is being hit here. But basically, the Guilty Empress Darkface Ghidorah in premium got put to 2, and this is basically a very oppressive card that has been very oppressive for a while in premium, and it finally got put to 2. And now some people are like, oh, 2 is like not that bad, you can still play the game. 2 is a powerful hit. I will say I would have preferred to see this go to 1, but I can understand 2. It is possible to get through 2. 4 was just ridiculous. 4 was just like you know, you're not getting through all that. It's just too much. 2 is reasonable, and it keeps the deck semi-alive. And also, I'm okay with the card existing. I just don't want existing at 4 copies. So I will say I would prefer 1, but 2 is fine too. So the reason why I think 2 is okay, and I think I did mention this in the video, I don't remember precisely, but we are getting Crest Harry, and we just got Crest Rose as well along with it. Those decks are very strong, and the Bugs does check decks like that, along with a couple other decks that are also in that realm. This deck does check those decks, which I think is good to have. It's good to have something checking very powerful decks. So like if I were to take Crest Harry, I have to keep in the back of my head that I could still bump into Bugs and randomly lose the game because of that. So maybe it's not the best choice, and it kind of makes it a little bit more evened out for the tier 1 bracket, in my opinion. So it's not the end of the world. Like I said, I just don't like this card regardless of what it's doing. So I would have prefer to see it go to 1, but 2 is reasonable and it's doable. So for those out there that are kind of like pissy about it, it's fine. Also, it means that the Bugs players can still play their clan without it being completely destroyed, because realistically speaking, Bugs has a couple other decks they can play outside of the Ghidorah package, but it's just not, in my opinion, not a Bugs player, but in my opinion, I just don't think it's as impactful as a Ghidorah Strike most of the time. Not every time. You don't always auto Ghidorah Strike as a Bugs player, but usually you do, especially to specific matchups that you really need to. Overall, like I said, it's not the end of the world. I actually don't think this ban list is terrible. I don't think it's as bad as people think it is, to be honest with you. We also got the World's announcements for products. So basically we got the standard supply set. So if you're a standard winner, you get all these goodies. It's like a mat and a box and sleeves, and it looks really cool. And then for premium, which this one was actually really gorgeous, you get the Katrina premium deck set, which also is very similar, but with the Katrina art. But it's brand new art for Katrina. Looks absolutely amazing. I really like how they did this. It just looks really, really pretty. And then we had for Vice Force had their Freyan deck set. Actually, I haven't seen this anime. I really need to, but this is also really pretty. It's very purple. And then we also had Shadowverse, which is also looking really awesome. We had the World's Final Supply set, and the art on this one looks absolutely amazing. I don't know exactly who is who. That looks like Garnet in the middle, and it looks like the Omen people. The two on the right, I know it's the mage from Runecraft, and I think that's the Garnet, like the Abyss Omen in the middle. I don't know who the girl on the left is though, but really cute art. Really love it. It looks adorable. Then we had the World's Prizing. I really like this too. So we had a top 8 and a top 4 card. This is really good. It's an over trigger, but it does look really nice. I really like how they made this. And then we also had the top 8 and the top 4 for premium, which is a Link Joker card, interestingly enough. And it's also a different art of that, so that's also really cool. Vice got the purple card again. And then also top 4 is the Sword Angel, and top 8 for Shadowverse. So we also had the champion prizes, which is these. I will say these are interesting. I'm not a fan of the standard one, interestingly enough, unless that is a generic starter, which that is cool. But if it's a counter one, I'm kind of like a little bit more iffy about it. But I actually don't like the standard one as much. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. He looks cool. I'm just not a fan of that. It is cool that you get to play that and just go, hey, this is mine. But also what's really cool about it is that it looks really nice. Like it'll look really nice, like a plaque or something. So, or whatever you use, you know, like a little thing to keep it protected, or if you PSA it and all that kind of stuff. The Katrina one I think is actually really gorgeous. I actually really like that one. I think that one's super cool. And then we have the Freyan one, and then also the Sisters in Bloom are also in the same ones for that champion. So that's also really pretty. We have the casters announced, which is going to be basically it's in the columns like this. So this is Vanguard, and then we have Vice, and then we have Shadowverse, and it's Different Fight and Kai. You got Ian, Shizukats, and then we have Igneous and Red Zone Rogue. I think I've met everyone here except Ian, so all really good people, all really nice people. The cast pool is smaller this time, mainly because Vanguard lost V. And then I guess they're gonna just change how they're gonna cast premium for this year, and it's fair. They've been. I made a tweet about all this, by the way. I did talk about this like the day after, but it makes sense since they're kind of pushing a lot into product and all this stuff. And this is in Japan, and all this stuff is happening, so it makes sense that they're trying to kind of cut back somewhere. It's pretty expensive to fly people out, especially people like me who are overseas. And DF and Kai are just generally closer. So if they want to kind of save money somewhere and kind of push on other stuff like pricing and all this other stuff, I can kind of see this. I can understand why they kind of cut back on the caster end. Like I said, I don't know. I was one of the casters last year. I'm not a caster this year, but this is just my personal speculation. At the end of the day, it's their choice who they want representing their game, so it's fine. But overall, congratulations to everybody. Really awesome stuff, and it's gonna be really fun to watch this. And it is in a different location, if I remember correctly, so it's also gonna be really cool to see that page dedicated to this. I actually don't know if this link is working now. It might be, because they actually this link was breaking last time, but it looks like it is. So yeah, it looks like they got the location, they got the casters here, and then we have the prizes, which we looked at, and then also, oh yeah, we also have these name tag cards that they came out with, which are basically you can choose a design and have your name written on them. Vice has one too, Shadowverse has one for their evolve points, which is really cool. Premium got one as well, and then they also, here's the stuff we looked at earlier. Oh, you can actually move the cards. That's really cute. I like that. That's cool. I'm glad they're adding little oomph to these. That's also really cool. I didn't know about this. I actually did see this, and then they're basically saying where it's happening, which is that at the card game festival, and it's also I think during Golden Week, so it's gonna be a very hectic time in Japan. Japan's gonna be busy. if I'm doing this all correctly. So this is also really cool. Now this is where things kind of get a little interesting, I would say, is the best way to put it. So from May to September, we're gonna have Summerfest, which is basically just Springfest but in the summer, which is also really exciting because people are wondering what this was going to turn into, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. They also announced kind of what the schedule is gonna be looking like. We got the Harry sets that just came out with the Night Rose. We got set 6 dropping, and then set 7 7 dropping, and then the Korokoro set, and then actually it's set 8 that's dropping for this one. So sorry guys, I misunderstood that one. And then we also have these are the master deck sets that are dropping. They also announced Bushi Expo, so if you're into the Bushi Expo stuff, that's also coming back along with these cool cards that you can get if you're there. Let's talk about the Bushiroad Springfest thing though, because there was a lot of mayhem around this one. So they basically announced that Premium is going to be a best of 1 singles no team event, and then that there's good potential of Lyrical Monasterio Cup happening as well, which was kind of a big, it started kind of a little bit of a mayhem over on like Twitter. I don't know if other places, like other social medias were kind of freaking out about this, but I know Twitter was kind of popping off about this. To give you guys a retrospective, usually for Springfest or now it's Summerfest, it is basically 2 days, and the first day is 2 games and the second day is 2 games. So if usually it'll be Cardfight, it would be standard day 1, Premium day 2, and then for Vice and Shadowverse, it'll be Vice day 1 and Shadowverse day 2. Sometimes they will flip around, but usually Vanguard will have a different format for each day. This year they decided to change it and decided to make day 2 different. They decided to make Premium, which is usually a teams event, decided to make it singles. And on top of that, not only is it singles, but also it's not always going to be Premium. It might be also Lyrical Monasterio Cup. And that kind of got a lot of unhappiness started because some people really were looking forward to Premium and they wanted to, you know, play and with their team. I will say I'm not a fan of this either. I understand if, and I guess we'll see the schedule. I understand at least for the lyrical part, for the places that don't have as many events or don't have as many showings, if they want to do lyrical there instead, I guess that's fine. It's for like smaller regionals, and maybe they're going to be having more regionals, like maybe there'll be more BCSs, I don't know, like maybe there'll be more places to play, and because there's gonna be more places to play, they are trying to find like a backup plan in case like nobody there plays Premium or something like that. So they want to have Lyrical Cup as a backup, which I can understand. That makes sense to me, especially since V Premium is basically gone. That way they have a way to get people to play and to go, and it makes sense. What I don't understand is why we're killing teams for it. We could still do Lyrical Cup as singles and do Premium as teams, like it's not really hurting everyone. And in case there's not enough people, then just make it into a Lyrical Cup. Like I don't really fully understand why we have to change it to best of 1 Swiss rounds for day 2. I don't really understand that concept. Like that's the only thing that kind of doesn't make sense to me. I think teams is a very fun and exciting thing. I think it's really fun to play. I think it's a good break from like the usual BCS glorified singles and all that kind of stuff. It just makes it more fun, especially if you're traveling. If you're traveling at the pack of 3, like person A and then person B and person C, you guys are all like teammates, and then you're playing together day 1, and then you want to play together day 2. Well, now you can't, and it's like weird because now you're like separate the day 2, and then you kind of all doing your own thing. Someone's like, oh, I'll play Lyrical Cup, and someone's like, well, I guess I'll go play Premium, or I'll go do the side events or something. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. And then like, what if like you're forced to play Lyrical Cup and you don't want to play Lyrical Cup, and now that's even weirder. It's like, why did you travel just to play Lyrical Cup, especially if you don't want to? And then what's the point of teaming up and working together and testing all the stuff just to then day 2 be all split up and weird? I just think it's weird, especially since it is supposed to be like a team thing. It's supposed to be like a friend thing. It's supposed to be like a more casual thing. So I don't really get it, and I definitely see the distaste towards it. A lot of people also think this is a like gateway into Premium dying. And I will say, when I first saw this, I was kind of like panicking. I was like, are we really killing this format? Because I don't think we should. That was my first initial reaction. But then over time I thought about it, and then I was like, okay, maybe it's just that they want it in specific locations. Maybe they want to try something different. Like I said, the only thing that doesn't make sense to me is the team thing. Especially in NA, I feel like English for the most part, and actually I would say Europe, is very big into Premium. I would say for some people prefer Premium over Standard, and they actually play Premium. They play Standard because they're playing Premium, if that makes sense. So if Premium goes, they're not playing Standard. It's kind of like the gist of that, and it's a pretty good portion of people. It's not like, you know, it's not like everyone, obviously, because there's a lot of new blood, a lot of new people playing, but there's definitely, I think, at least a third of the community that plays Premium. So seeing it go is going to kind of suck, and usually Premium players aren't as big as Standard. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's what, you know, Bushiroad is trying to push away from. They don't like the fact that there's people out there that don't like Standard. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Like I said, I'm not Bushiroad. I'm just giving ideas of why this is happening. I have been noticing there's been less interest in Premium in terms of like Bushiroad putting effort into Premium. It's there, it's just not like insane as it used to be. We haven't had product in a while, like actual product, like an entire set of product, and maybe it's possible they're making money off of it. I don't know. I don't do all the math for like how card market does. I'm not that person. It's not my thing. Overall, we'll see what happens here. I am excited this is happening. I like that it's happening in the summer. Looks to be like it's basically the same as it was before. But the news was actually really exciting. I thought we got a lot of good stuff. Like I said, the manga thing is really cool. The new sets are coming really cool. The master sets process for trial decks are really cool. It's stuff that I've been wanting. I want more people to be able to play the game. You will not believe the amount of times I get people asking me, hey, what are you playing and how do I get into it? And I always have to answer with, I don't know. Like or I have to answer with a Stride deck set, which isn't even like a regular mechanic of Standard. Like Standard isn't Stride decks. Standard is everything else. Stride decks is just additional nostalgia added onto it, right? So the fact that I can't give people a deck to play that is a Standard deck because it's expensive because of XYZ is like pretty awful, because most people have like a budget of 300 and like it sucks because they can only play one deck, or they have to stick to one nation. They can't really try stuff out. They can't try budget decks. It's so painful. So trial decks is such a nice way to get people into the game without having to spend hundreds of dollars, because keep in mind, if you're a new player, you're not just going to randomly whip out 300 and go, yeah, I'm here. You know, you're probably going to start at like a budget to see if you're even willing to invest further, and you got to start somewhere. Usually trial decks is the place to start, right? But the trial decks are just so, you know, we don't have that many of them. The ones we do have that we got for Divine were not that very good, but you're forced to get them because of the encounter. Right now, I think the best ones are the Harry and the Night Rose ones, because they even come with the counter. Like they come with the ladder for the energy stuff. They come with that, which is very, very useful, by the way. It makes it so much more, like those are probably the best ones to get right now. I'm assuming the future trial decks are going to be in that same realm as well, where they'll have with those, but right now those are the best products I could offer to people. But it just sucks because they're like a completely different thing. They're not even like the way Standard is. Like they're not Persona decks. Like they're kind of like different, you know? So anyway, we'll see what changes. I'm really excited about that. See you guys in a future video of whatever it is that I'm doing. As you guys know, 50 cards out shop, FUTURE if you need any of your goodies. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really love all the support. Love the fact that you guys are talking. I love to see people responding. It's part of the community. I'm trying to grow together with you guys. I just want to enjoy the game together. Peace out, guys. That's Vidania. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Bye.